practices. So I would say feel free to utilize chat to ask questions. I will probably answer them at the end of the session. And we'll get started. If you are on the Twitter, you can follow or shout out Anvil at Anvil Media, or myself, yours truly, Kent Lewis, at Kent J. Lewis. You can also find me on other social platforms as well, like Instagram and LinkedIn and so forth. So hopefully I will connect with you soon. So let's get started. What we're going to cover today includes a couple topics around Amazon marketing, including why you should care about Amazon, how to conduct some strategic planning to build a foundational presence on Amazon, how to optimize your product pages, how to build out an Amazon advertising campaign, some of your options there, provide some tips on additional amplification for your Amazon presence, and provide a few conclusion thoughts and resources, and we'll have time for a little bit of Q&A before we wrap up. So let's talk about why Amazon matters. For starters, more than half of product searches start on Amazon, according to Ken Hsu. And this is particularly important because Google has historically owned the idea of the initial product search, but Google still 93% of experiences start on search engines, and Google is 3/4 of that market. But when it comes to product-based searches, Amazon actually beats Google out. So it's a must-be place for manufacturers and retailers of consumable products. Shoppers also start product searches nearly twice as often on Amazon than on Google, according to Bloomreach. And 90% of consumers check Amazon, even if they find a product they want on another retailer site, they are typically confirming price, availability, shipping options, etc. So you need to consider a presence for that alone. And there are 300 million active users on Amazon across 2 million sellers, making Amazon one of the largest social media platforms on the planet, let alone commerce platforms. They own 5% of the total retail market, which is insane if you think about nobody else owns anywhere near as large a market as Amazon. Amazon's conversion rate is also 3 times higher than industry average for websites. So their e-commerce conversion rate is closer to 15%. The average e-commerce conversion rate for a reasonably well-optimized e-commerce site is around 5%. So it shows you there's a lot of opportunity and a lot of reasons to have a presence on Amazon. And one note is that whether or not you have a presence on Amazon as a manufacturer doesn't mean that people aren't already selling your products. So keep that in mind from a brand and trademark protection standpoint. Amazon did about $10 billion of ad revenue in 2018, and that was almost 100% growth year over year in Q4 of this last year. So that obviously the advertising options have grown extensively. More and more brands, retailers and manufacturers are buying advertising on Amazon to drive traffic to their product pages, stores, and drive revenue. And advertising in Amazon Web Services were only 15% of Amazon's Q4 revenue last year, but it accounted for 1/3 of its revenue growth because other elements like general revenue from retail sales is actually flat. And global ad sales alone are over $500 billion, so they still have only 2% of the revenue share, but that's still a significant amount when you look at the total numbers. So there's a lot of opportunity there. And Amazon is expected to grow, and its advertising business will increase from a $10 billion to $50 billion over the next few years. So the advertising opportunities are likely to gain market share at Google and Facebook's expense. So additional thoughts on why Amazon matters beyond the statistics. Some of the benefits include increasing brand awareness. So there are brands like Instapot that actually grew significant sales almost exclusively through the Amazon channel initially, and it generated a huge amount of awareness just to get the product out there. And then obviously you can drive a lot of revenue there. The caveat is, which we'll talk about in a second, has a lot to do with the margins are obviously thinner and you lack control oftentimes on Amazon versus your direct channels on your website and so forth. It's a great place to test new products or product bundles. You can obviously extend and expand your demographics because you can target a very large audience and with advertising options in a very narrow field of interest and past buying behavior. And obviously, by having a store, some sort of meaningful presence on Amazon, you can obviously influence your brand perception and accurately and productively position yourself against your competitors. So a few good reasons to think about Amazon. Now, as I mentioned earlier, there are some challenges. Amazon owns Amazon, not you. Similar to Facebook, Zuckerberg owns Facebook, Gates owns Microsoft. You don't control those channels, even if you are, fully in control of your Seller Central account. And so knowing that Amazon's in control, they may buy your products at a discount and sell them at a loss because they can. And that can do harm your brand and reputation when that happens. And that's assuming you're even if you are making money. And then other sellers can erode your product and your pricing by aggressively marketing against you, which can be challenging. And there are some limited direct relationships with the buyers, like Amazon does not allow you to have direct contact with the buyers other than confirming shipments and, asking if there are any questions, but you do not own the relationship, you don't have the contact information. So in essence, a lot of your success or failure can be determined by your competitors. And, just an example of two funny examples of some of the downside of Amazon. What you see in the photos isn't always what you get. If you see the 1-800 flowers, it may be a little different on delivery than what you see in the catalog or the website. Versus in retail, you get to see what you're buying. And also, size matters. So this guy, Adam, thought he was buying a carpet for his room and didn't realize it's about 10 inches by 6 inches. So not 10 feet by 6 feet. So pretty solid purchase there. So again, one tip for especially anybody selling miniature rugs is to have a scale like a hand, or be funny to have actually a miniature action figure on it, so it still confuses you. But be that as it may, there are challenges. So hopefully overall you realize that there is a benefit to having a presence on Amazon. You might already be on there, whether you're selling your product or somebody else is. But if you're serious about building a presence, particularly a store, then you need to go through some planning. So from a competitive, I like to start with competitive benchmarking, looking at what the competitors in your industry are doing. So basically, what are they selling, at what price points, how many sellers are selling your competitors' products, is the manufacturer selling direct, do they have their own store? Basically, you're trying to understand where the bar has been set so you can build out your strategy and adjust. And the other challenge is, as a manufacturer, you want to respect your retail channel, your distributors, your wholesalers. So you typically want to advertise at or sell at MAP pricing, minimum advertised price, so that your resellers have a chance to potentially beat you on your price, and you're creating minimal frustration and disruption. So there are a variety of tools you can see here. Amazon's product research allows you to look at certain price. They'll look at revenue, average revenue. You can look at average price, reviews, and really get a sense of what products are out there and create a profile, so create a strategy. So utilize Amazon's tools and other third-party tools to help understand the product selection and pricing. Then you should do your keyword research. So let's say you know what you want to sell, but you're not exactly sure how people are buying. Google has a slightly different user or behavior set because people are higher up in the funnel. They're doing more product research versus people on Amazon who may be doing product research, but they're typically ready to buy. It's 1 or 2 clicks away from purchase. So to get in front of them, you need to optimize your product listings and your ads for the right keywords. And you can utilize a variety of tools to do that, like SEMrush, Jungle Scout, Keyword.io, Keyword Tool.io, WordStream, Sonar, etc. Moz has some capabilities as well in that regard. But these allow you to understand which keywords are generating what kind of volume, what position, the pricing, etc., cost per click. So you have a good idea of what's being popularly searched and how competitive and how desirable based on the bid price. So you can triangulate your keyword research that way. Next up would be pricing strategies. So pricing is a significant ranking factor, obviously, and that's what's different with Google. I've been optimizing websites since 1996, and I can tell you that keywords were certainly a factor, but one thing that's been true for over 20 years is that pricing is not a factor in Google's algorithm like it is in Amazon, because Amazon is a marketplace, unlike Google, which is more of a gateway. So as a marketer, I can tell you where your pricing may need to be competitive, but it may not work for you at a margin level. So you have to kind of do your own research and understand how you can price competitively against your marketplace and still generate a profit. Right now, a vast majority of Amazon's revenue is triggered by the buy box. So buy now, the yellow box, and that's 56 of the 62 billion in sales. So you want to get into the buy box. That's the holy grail. And so keep in mind, Seller Central, which is one of the ways you can sell, offers automatic bidding to get you the best price. You can also select to beat the lowest fulfilled price by Amazon price by X amount. You can test also other options to get your product in front of people, lightning deals, the early review program, and product bundles. But no matter what, you have to monitor and manage your pricing very closely, because there's cheapest, cheaper, higher, highest, and you want to keep the right ratio of being cost competitive to protect your margins. And keep in mind that Amazon has a repricing strategy. They're running calculations constantly, and you have to check your pricing practically in real time. So you set a price, but how are you going to fulfill the product? So there are three different options, primary options, and Seller Central, Vendor Central, and Vendor Express are the three primary options. And we recommend, generally speaking, Seller Central as the best option. So, but for starting with Vendor Central, that's wholesaling to Amazon, where you have the least control, and you're basically just a supplier. Amazon does all the merchandising and fulfillment. Seller Central and Fulfilled by Amazon uses Amazon as your merchant platform, but you have more control over things like pricing and positioning and so forth. Merchant Direct is using Amazon solely as a hosting platform where you have full control. So a large brand makes sense to be Merchant Direct. For retailers, resellers, Vendor Central typically makes a lot of sense. So you can see the comparison chart below to see who does what. And you can see Vendor Express is the lowest way to get, easiest way to get in. And then Merchant Direct, which is not on the comparison chart, offers you the most control. But Seller Central is a great place to start. Optimal control, lower risk, and you can always grow to Merchant Direct if it makes sense. So on the product page optimization, you've created some product pages, you've set your pricing, you've determined what type of fulfillment you want. Now you got to figure out how to rank your pages or your products. And there are two basic buckets of optimization techniques. There are the performance factors you see below, and then there are relevance factors that are more Google search engine style factors. So for performance, there's the sales history, your sales rank, basically. So that can be obviously gamed by price and selection and inventory. The greater your sales, the more impressive your sales history, improves your sales rank, gives you more leverage. Quantity and quality of customer reviews is a factor. If you are answering questions thoroughly in a timely manner, if you have a good conversion rate of visitors to buyers, and good customer retention too. Do you have reorders? And there's also product listing completeness. Are you filling in all the areas of the product page so that buyer and Amazon can get the maximum value or insight into what the product is and what it does and why you should buy it? There's click volume, your pricing and availability, and other product options. So if you have options like model, color, features, etc., providing those options, maximum options, can be beneficial. So you can see that the algorithm is looking at the text within the product page, but they do run that up against availability, product price, and your sales velocity or sales volume. So those are all direct factors. Indirect is everything else I've mentioned. So let's talk a little bit more about reviews as a performance factor. So the volume of the reviews is obvious, but they do factor in. You can't discount your way to success. They do keep the volume of the percentage or number, size of discounts in mind. So it can work against you if you have deep discounts on all your products. They look at the age of the reviews, not just volume, and how helpful they've been. So people review reviews. So this is a great review. I like it, and that gives it more credibility. One of the most famous reviews on Amazon is the Mountain Three Wolf short sleeve T-shirt. It has ascended to cult status when it first went on sales in 2008, and it's still a popular item because of the cheesy factor. And if you don't think it's cheesy, then I think you should buy one. So let's look at the next factor beyond reviews. And again, there's a challenge with you asking for reviews. When I buy from Amazon, I do get sellers that suggest or recommend, but you're not supposed to. You're limited on what kind of contact you can have with the buyers. So be careful with that. But always respond to reviews whenever possible. You can always do that, and you should. So that's the number one element I wanted to focus on for performance, because pricing and all of that, that's kind of an operational issue. What we know best at Anvil is the relevance ranking factors. So there are a bunch of them, more than 10, more than a dozen. And the obvious one is if your product brand or your brand name that field needs to be completed and linked to other products with that same brand name. You've got your product listing title, which should be complete, including brand name, model name, features, color, sizes. The more descriptive, the better. Maximize your character count there. You've also got a lot of room in your product description. So working in keywords based on your keyword research into the proper form fields in your product listing and description. Typically we recommend, bullet points versus paragraphs. People want punchy copy that's easy to scan. Then you've got your field keywords, which appear in the product URL. So those are very important. And then the nodes, which identify the product category. So it's kind of this root, parent, leaf structure. So if you're a house of brands and you have, shoes, and under shoes you have running shoes, and under running shoes you have performance or long distance or whatever. There's the field brand text bin, which is dedicated brand name. It can also be measured, which is nice. And then the line of the product. So it just helps if you have various product lines to help differentiate. You also have color, materials, size, dimensions, a lot, which is essential for furniture and appliance and electronics, where size does matter. And then there's the quantity. So they do not like returns. They don't like discounts. So be careful with that. Be clear on how many units or products come within that packaging. And that's particularly important when you're bundling to create a new ISBN or a unique SKU for a variety of reasons, for branding purposes, pricing purposes, or whatever the reason. Be sure that you outline any changes in product number, because it's easy to order what you think is 1 and it's 10, or vice versa. So a couple of tips related to relevance ranking and maximizing your rank. It's essential basically to incorporate your relevant keywords across all fields mentioned. I just mentioned. The current keyword character limit is 250 characters, so not including spaces or punctuation. So I use like Microsoft Word or a similar word processor that has character count, word count, so you can understand that you are hitting your maximums. I find it's easier to edit in Word and track and measure and edit long term as you evolve products by keeping it in a Word doc format. And then length limit does apply to the total content and all generic keyword fields. So you have a total of 5 attributes. And then don't include keywords that are not descriptive, which sounds obvious, but keep the buzzwords out, the adjectives, the adverbs, I should say, that don't add descriptive value, like beautiful, attractive. Those are, everybody's product is going to want to be that, but that doesn't specifically. That's in the eye of the beholder. And then do not include brand names, even your own or other product identifiers, in the wrong fields. And then don't duplicate content present in other attributes. So your title and bullet points should not be repeated elsewhere. try to keep it unique. And then you don't have to repeat keywords like it's 1997 SEO strategy. But don't forget to try synonyms, hypernyms. You can Google that if you're not sure what it means. It's a super special word that I won't tell you what it means. And then spelling variations of content in the visible attribute field. So there are different plurals and singulars, etc. So for folks like us that are well versed in over 20 years of SEO work, this is a very natural place. But if you're new to it, then it can be a lot more challenging. So let's touch on Amazon advertising briefly, and because that's really the other half of the equation. You can optimize your product pages like crazy, but the forest through the trees, you know, when it falls, do you hear it if you're not there? That's kind of the challenge with Amazon is your product pages can be great, but if you don't have the sales volume, if you're not following all the best practices on the relevance factors, then you may not be visible and you may need to buy your way in to increase visibility and improve your sales history. So there are a variety of Amazon advertising products, and I'll touch on a few. The number one most popular is product display ads. It's a cost per click basis like Google AdWords, and it can be in the product or interest categories. They drive traffic to the product detail page, basically. Then there's sponsored brands, formerly known as headline search ads. These are keyword targeted on a cost per click basis, and they allow brands to promote custom headlines, including a logo, a featured product image, and it'll drive traffic to a store or a curated page, you know, a showcase page versus a individual product page. And then there are sponsored products. So targeted ads allow you to advertise individual products you sell on Amazon.com. And you can go to their website, just Google Amazon advertising products, and you'll see a breakdown and details and examples of these three primary ad options. Now, stores is actually more of a organic presence. You're creating a store, but you need that store to create some of the ad campaign option to leverage some of these products. So on the sponsored product side of advertising, they allow you to advertise individual products sold on Amazon. And so when I'm shopping for a teddy bear, it'll say, you know, these are relevant products that you may be interested in. It's very similar to Google AdWords in terms of ad rank, exact phrase and broad matching capabilities. So teddy bear, stuffed toy. If I'm searching for any of those, this recommended product may come up as an advertised product, but it isn't totally clearly advertising to the non-aficionados, but the relevance should be there, so it should be a very seamless experience to the buyer. Amazon sponsored brands are ads that feature your brand logo, a custom headline up to 3 of your products. So it's a curated collection, so you can see this Jack and Jill example. The ads appear in search results and have generate more of a recognition approach, so you can still sell, but it's great brand recognition to see your logo and associated featured products, and we've seen success there with that approach. And then there's Amazon stores, right? So you create a product, you can create a store for your brand as long as you can show that you have the trademark. So it's a way to have a multi-page store on Amazon. It is free for the brand once you prove you own the brand, and you can create, you know, categories and utilize their free pre-designed templates. They have drag and drop tiles. It's extremely easy to build stores. There are some tricks, of course. We've built a few stores for our clients that didn't really have the interest or ability to build the stores, and it gives you an opportunity to add things like video, obviously copy, high quality images that sell the product. Ideally, the product in action. Your teddy bear is great, but I want to see the teddy bear hugging somebody or somebody hugging that teddy bear to get sense. I would not have guessed that teddy bear was so large. In the example below from Vermont Teddy Bear, they have large teddy bears. Create a unique, easy to remember Amazon URL, typically your brand name, and then you get a bunch of great analytics through Store Insights. Everybody's platform from Facebook to I think even YouTube have named their analytics section or capability insights. So it gives you a sense of sales volume, where it's coming from, top products. So you can really slice and dice based on, you know, margin or volume, you know, look at your loss leaders and look where there's growth opportunities. all within the store. So if you own the trademark, you should be building a store. Now, you've built your store or you have your product pages all lined up. It's time to market. So product display ads are, again, just like they are similar to Google display. It's a cost per click, and it's a product, it basically drives traffic to a product detail page. And you can use product or interest targeting to deliver these ads based on what we know about a shopper and their interests and their past buying behavior. They can appear on the product detail page on the right rail of search results at the bottom. And they are also on the customer review page and on the read all reviews page. So they're in a variety of places basically, and even in emails such as follow-ups and recommendations. So those ads get a ton of visibility, so it's great for branding and awareness. Amazon also has video ads. So you've got high quality video content. If you do, then you should consider video ads. It's a very safe environment, unlike by comparison, YouTube or Facebook. And they also have an ad network that extends the videos out to other properties they own, like IMDb, the Internet Movie Database, out on Fire TV and across the web where they have properties or partnerships. Businesses can buy the video ads whether or not they sell products on Amazon, because it's more of a branding play. And they have this whole dynamic service platform, a DSP, where you can buy and manage your own video campaigns, but you need a $35K minimum spend. So it's for the big boys. And then if you're looking at a managed service option, you can do that, or you can work with consultants like Anvil through or direct through Amazon recommended partners, or go direct to somebody like us that you trust to get the job done. There are some other products, just heads up, if you're a big brand listening, or if you just want to know what's maybe coming down the pipe for smaller brands over time. There are some custom ads that are they are custom priced. They're typically high cost, high profile takeovers on certain pages, like homepage of Amazon. There's the programmatic ad platform, which is more like the Google AdSense network that's out on third-party websites. And then your seller eligibility criteria, you need two requirements to be an active professional seller. Is one requirement to enroll in the Amazon brand registry to use their advertising options. So you have to show that you have control or ownership with the brand that you're selling in order to do anything basic or advanced on the ad side with Amazon. So a few ways to manage your campaigns. There's manual, and then there's Amazon tools, and then third party. So Amazon Bid Plus allows you to automatically boost ad groups or keyword bids through the platform. And the DSP, which is a programmatic option, you can buy ads across their network in a programmatic fashion. And then there are third-party platforms like Solytics, Kensho, and Seller Engine that allow you to manage the ad campaigns through a bid management platform, much like you would with with Google and other platforms, Facebook, etc. So it allows you to aggregate and see a big picture, to have a lot more control than what you might get directly through the Amazon platform. So you should know your numbers when it comes to measurement. So, it's important to understand what your break-even is for your advertising cost of sale, or ACOS, as it will guide your campaigns. So as a KPI, or key performance indicator, the ACOS indicates the ratio of your ad spend to your targeted sales. So you can see in the example, the visual below, when you look at the breakdown of your product margin, if you're looking at a gross profit of 22%, then you need to make sure that your ACOS is lower to ensure that you're profitable. So if you're at 20% ACOS, then you're only making 2% margin, and that's grocery margin, and you have to have massive volume to make that even remotely feasible. So you got to understand your margin breakdown before your ad spend in order to figure out what kind of ad spend will work, and which means you got to understand your pricing, product pricing as it relates to your margin, and then factor in all these other costs. So here's an example. One of our clients, Icon Time, They sell like time tracking machines, like timestamps, like Laverne and Shirley style, and then a bunch of other more modern products. And we took over Amazon store, so organic optimization and paid in November of last year. We optimized our product pages and built out an advertising program. So we leverage our SEO, search engine optimization background to improve rankings for the product pages. And we built out a robust advertising program for them. And this case study is a couple months old, but there was a massive increase in impressions. The ACOS increased 3x, orders increased, clicks, cost per click, and CTR. They all went the right direction. And so it just shows what you can do if you spend a little bit of time and have some knowledge and expertise in the space. So let's wrap up the marketing component of Amazon with looking at additional ways you can amplify your visibility on Amazon, your presence, and ideally your sales. So one idea is to, on your corporate website, you want to optimize your landing pages, blog, and other content to drive links to your Buy on Amazon section. So this is a client of ours that sells National Geographic STEM toys, and this is a Break Your Own Geode, and their commerce right now happens 100% on Amazon. That may evolve over time, but it's a critical sales channel for them, if not their only initially, as they're doing proof of concept. And so we've optimized their product pages on their website that direct to Amazon and created or optimized other blog content. And we also have been building an email database for these guys, for this company, because, you know, having an email database is key. So building out a prospect database that we can then hit back up to remarket to over time is important. And then, of course, on social media, making sure your social profiles are visible and the organic posts are driving back to Amazon when appropriate. And don't forget to leverage influencers. So relationships with folks in your industry that, whether they're on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, or bloggers or whatever they are, you know, get some products in their hands, let them try it out, and then share their experience and write about it. So those are all ways that, and then, you know, whether or not they choose to use an Amazon link to your product or not, it's all been set up. A couple more bonus Amazon marketing tips. Number one, you should send at least one email, and I think the limit is 2, but typically it's a confirmation upon order, or it's a few weeks after delivery if you're going to send only one, just to say, hey, hope you had a chance to check out our product. Let us know if you have any questions, and don't forget to review us, review the product. Amazon does allow for basic HTML to be used in product descriptions, so take advantage, bolds, itals, etc. And, you know, the enhanced branded content, which was reserved only for products sold by Amazon, and then the vendor program is now available for most sellers at Seller Central, so it could be worth exploring that. And don't forget to manage and curate the Q&A related to your product. So by curating, you're of course answering any good questions or all questions, and then you might seed some of the questions with commonly asked questions that you can craft a really solid answer to. So in conclusion, build a store if you can, get in the brand registry, select a fulfillment option. We recommend Seller Central. Consider creating unique products and bundles. So with one of our clients that's in the dorm room product, you know, accessory curation space as a retailer and also a manufacturer, the idea was, well, some of their product and bedding can be very expensive, so creating some entry-level product that doesn't erode their brand in terms of pricing, but also create bundles that keep the price average order size up, but are packaged uniquely for Amazon exclusively, so you can have lower cost products to protect your margin, but brand them as a special exclusive product that's a good entry level for people that are not familiar with your brand. And optimize your product pages, of course, SEO best practices. We have an article. We actually provide, as part of our Amazon Shopping Audit and Plan, optimization strategies and specific recommendations for our clients, and others do the same. You can increase awareness and sales through advertising and get that additional bump, both in sales and awareness per that Instapot idea. And then leverage available tools and vendors to maximize your ROI. So know what to do in-house and know what to outsource. And there are a few of our clients that do Amazon in-house. There are a few that have outsourced to very specific firms that only do Amazon management. And then there are others that are like, I'm just going to do this myself. So there are a lot of different options. And then augment your amplification through external channels. So promoting your Amazon presence where appropriate. Your website, your signature file, your newsletter, social channels, you name it. Make it easy for people to buy, especially if you're not selling direct on your website for whatever reason. So we have a bunch of articles that are related, so including a larger feature, and it's on iMedia's website, and it really talks through a lot of what I just explained in some detail with additional links and resources. And there are some other related Amazon selling and advertising articles and resources that I used for this presentation, and these are all clickable. And I believe, you will have this webinar will be archived, and you should be able to click on these. If not, you can go to our insight section on anvilmediainc.com and look for the articles there. So now is, I think, the time to answer any questions you might have. You can also email me, Kent at Anvil Media, with specific questions. And but right now, I suggest getting on and responding on chat with any immediate questions you might have based on this presentation. So let's see, how do I see these?
There's like a chat, like the little speech bubble.
Speech bubble, here we go. Oh, sorry, here we go. I don't see it.
Answer, how do I know if my products are right for the Amazon store?
Yeah, sure. So how do I know if my products are right for the Amazon store? So, if you're not sure if your products are right for Amazon, a couple things. Number one, look and see what products are out there that are similar to yours. Is somebody selling your product or a likeness? And if so, then it's more of a pricing strategy. If they're not selling, then you need to look at your margins. Typically, if you do not have the bandwidth to sell it yourself, set up your own merchant direct or seller central account, then you may want to outsource somebody that actually does all the pricing, fulfillment, manages the entire store. At Anvil, we pretty much only do the marketing component, the page optimization and advertising programs. So to know what that break-even point, typically third-party vendors like NetRush here in the greater Portland area will not take products under $20 because it's nearly impossible to profitably manage an Amazon account at those price points. So if it's over $20, you can at least have the option to outsource fulfillment of the entire thing or just parts of it to another vendor and still have enough margin left over. And so hopefully that helps answer that question.
Yeah, the other one's kind of on that subject of how do I know if I should manage myself or if I need to outsource?
Yeah, so let's say outside of the price point, let's say your product is over $20 or near that $20, so you have the choice. So how do you decide? Couple things. So I would look at the available resources you have in-house in your company, whether you're a manufacturer or a retailer. Does anybody have knowledge or experience running Amazon campaigns, or does somebody have interest in learning it? That's the starting point. Then there's kind of what is your company culture and how much strategically do you want to invest in a presence in Amazon? Because we've worked with some of our clients are 100% sales for Amazon down to maybe high single digits. And the ones that are in the low to medium double digits it's a scary place because Google has you by the huevos, basically. So you have to really be careful about that. So bringing in a professional, outsourcing entirely the whole thing to a NetRush may be viable, especially for higher ticket items or really high volume items that might anything over $20. Or you might want to work the hybrid between trying to do in-house and outsourcing everything is a hybrid approach, like utilizing somebody like Anvil Media, where we help build out the store, derive the strategy, optimize the product pages, and manage the advertising, while one or more people manage the actual Amazon presence, the pricing strategies, fulfillment strategies, customer service. And most brands that have an e-commerce or equivalent program can pretty much bolt on Amazon as another channel if it's not already, but it doesn't mean unless they have people in-house that know Amazon or know SEO and paid, it's going to be a struggle. So that's our sweet spot, for instance, is being the amplifier component of organic and paid Amazon optimization strategies, basically.
And then follow up on that. So if I outsource, how much would I be looking to spend?
Okay, so I'm not as familiar with how NetRush, and there's another one in town called RunAMZ that they charge a certain percent. I don't know if it's like 10 or 15%. It eats up a lot of the margin. So that's kind of a separate question outside of my core expertise. But what I can say is if you're working with somebody like Anvil on the kind of the setup and then the ongoing management, it's a couple $1,000s to build out our Amazon shopping audit and plan that covers the store, the optimization strategy for the product pages, the setting up an advertising program with Amazon marketing, and then the ongoing management is around continually optimizing, re-optimizing, and existing pages, optimizing any new product pages, but mostly it's managing the ad campaigns. And so that can be, starts at about $1,500 a month and goes up from there depending on the breadth and depth of your store and your goals. So it sounds like those are all the questions we have for today, and I want to let you get back the rest of your afternoon, so I will let you go. This has been Kent Lewis with Anvil Media. Appreciate your time, and hopefully you've learned a few things about Amazon marketing and you have a good direction, a sense of direction on where to go. And if you don't, feel free to email me with any questions. Thanks again for your time.